Indonesia, Kampus Depok. Let me begin by giving you a warm welcome to all of the participants on this joyous occasion. First of all, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Shifa Nuranisa. I will be your host for the day and also tomorrow. However, before we begin our activity for today, we will first watch the safety induction video of the Auditorium Building 1, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia. Today's event is being held to facilitate doctoral students and Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia in writing their articles to be published in reputable international journals, which is a requirement for the students to graduate from the doctoral program. For this event, we will have 3 experts giving us a sharing session about international publication. One expert, which we are familiar with, is our Professor Melani Budianta. I'm really sorry for that. Alongside 2 other experts from abroad, Carl Ian Chua, Ph.D. from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and Dr. Anissa Binta from the University of Melbourne, who will provide us with a presentation session and also a feedback session for the participants, assisted by other speakers and facilitators from the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia. Please allow me to give a short summary about today's schedule. For today, we will have a sharing session with Professor Melani Budianta, who will be talking about writing for knowledge formation. After the first session from Professor Melani Budianta, the participants who have submitted their articles are expected to join the panel sessions in Building 4, divided into 3 panel rooms. Please check the schedule that has been provided by the committee. Before we get into the next session, we will first hear an opening remark from the Manager of Academic, Dr. Ruli Esther. Dr. Ruli Esther, the floor is yours.
Selamat pagi semuanya. Good morning everyone. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the Faculty of Humanities Universitas Indonesia to this much anticipated international publication workshop titled From Ideas to Impact International Publication for Postgraduates in the Humanities. This event is a testament to our faculty's unwavering commitment to advancing academic excellence and fostering a vibrant culture of international scholarship within our institution. Today, as we come together, we acknowledge the pivotal role that international publications play in shaping the global academic landscape. This workshop is meticulously designed not only to assist our doctoral students in meeting their graduation requirements, but also to empower them with the essential skills and insights needed to ensure that their research makes a meaningful impact on society. We are deeply honored to have with us 3 distinguished experts, Professor Melani Budianta or Ibu Melani, a leading figure in cultural studies, and Carl Ian Chua from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, and Dr. Anissa Binta from the University of Melbourne, whose expertise will undoubtedly enrich our discussions. Their invaluable knowledge, combined with the support of our own esteemed faculty members, who will serve as mentors and facilitators in the panel sessions, will provide you with the guidance necessary to refine your research for publication in a reputable international journal. We encourage all participants to take full advantage of the wealth of knowledge and constructive feedback that will be shared during the expert presentations and also the panel discussions. We believe this workshop offers a unique platform to transform your research ideas into impactful contributions that will resonate far beyond the confines of our university. On behalf of our Dean, Bapak Bondan Kanumoyoso, I extend our best wishes for a productive and inspiring workshop. I would like to also express my gratitude to Manager of Research and Community Service, Ph.D. Sandi Pratama. He is absent today, so I represent him. And all of his wonderful team members, Sekar, Agus is not here, maybe, and Kendar, and of course, Ibu Getty, Pamanaka, and all of the organizing committee for this workshop, for organizing this very important event. And to all the participants, may your time here be filled with insightful exchanges, new experiences, and significant progress in your academic journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruli Esther, for the opening remark. For the next session, we will listen to our first expert on international publication, Dr. Melani Budianta. The first session will be led by Dr. Muhammad Afiandi as the moderator. Allow me to give a short introduction about our moderator for this session. Dr. Muhammad Afiandi is a lecturer in Russian Studies and Southeast Asian Studies program. He is also one of the editors for the International Review on Humanities Studies Journal. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Muhammad Afiandi.
Thank you, MC. Before we start our expert sessions, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you about Professor Melani Budianta. Professor Melani Budianta is a professor at Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia. Her studies have included explorations of women's activism following the May 1998 riots, as well as the literary construction of housemaids. She has also explored the subject of Chinese-Indonesian identity, including its practice during the 1997 ASEAN financial crisis, as well as its manifestation through the dragon dance. In her understanding of Chinese-Indonesian identity, Professor Melani Budianta has emphasized a concept of hybridity, wherein Chinese and indigenous cultures intertwine. She has served on the editorial boards of several academic journals, including Inter-Asia Cultural Studies, American Anthology for Asian Readers, and Malay Journal. She has also advised several organizations, including the Lontar Foundation and Suara Ibu Peduli, or Voice of Concerned Mothers. Ladies and gentlemen, please give your warm applause for Professor Melani Budianta.
Hello everybody. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Carl, for being here. Anissa, is really a wonderful experience to learn from all of them. Yeah. And today I'm not going to tell you how to publish in international journals or about the art of writing good articles. I think Anissa and Carl will help me do that. But I will actually start from the very basic. Very basic, the essence of writing. Why are we writing? What for? Right? Okay. So number one, we talk about writing as knowledge formation, of forming or building knowledge. Knowledge for who? Number one is this is something that you all experience. So I'm not going to talk about something that you don't know. I will just remind you of what you already know, also from my own experience. Number one is for ourselves. You must have experience, decided to put your mind into writing. And after a while, several times after you get 1 or 2 paragraphs, you start reading again, and you try to make sense of what is in your mind. Sometimes you don't understand what you have written, right? But writing is making sense of what am I thinking? Why am I writing this? And to organize our mind. I would just want to share my experience when I was about 5 years old or 6 years old. I didn't know I had dyslexia until 40 years later when I was an adult with 2 children. But writing was very hard for me because I could not distinguish between B and D and P, it's very hard for me. So my sister actually created a system in which she wrote a calendar, she drew a calendar for me, and then I have to draw in the calendar. I will put colors because I don't know how to write here. So I put colors, my emotion, what I think, colors and pictures, right? And then she would later on write down underneath, because she observed me. She is much older than me, 10 years apart. In English, actually, she wrote in English because she was in high school. What happened that day? She observed why I put red there, why I put blue. She sort of gave my interpretation, her interpretation of that. And in a few years later, I started to learn to write, and then she helped me to create, to make my own diary. So every day I would write my experience. Very difficult, but I write to write. And what is it for? Why is he doing that? Then I remember when I look back again at what she has done, then I learned what I thought at that certain moment and why I was feeling this and that, what happened to me, So writing helped me as a person to remember or to see my own development, thinking, thought development. Because if you speak, you speak, of course you give a seminar, sometimes it's recorded, sometimes not in classes. Like we have already learned Paro and Ram and Paro. It's just evaporated, right? Maybe each of you remember. But writing is a recording, a written recording of what you think. I just share my experience with Carl, that I just, because I'm retired, I'm no longer a professor actually. I'm not supposed to have that title anymore because I'm retired. I have to shred maybe, I don't know how many kilos of papers. And he said, why did you do that? It's a written record of what you have been doing. But I said, one meeting, this meeting, that, it's nothing valuable. So I just do that. But as he mentioned, writing is a record of our thinking, our mind. Yeah. So we record our journey, your journey. And it's very important to know yourself. Why are you writing? And what bothers you? What makes you write something? Yeah. It's claiming ownership of knowledge, right? Is you're writing in what you write. So it's not just an assemblage of whatever you can take from this and that. Because I once heard there is one student who can graduate without even writing his own sentence. It's a masterpiece. He just make a kind of assemblage of, here, there, other people's writing, and connect them and create a kind of combination that person managed to graduate. But if you do that, it's not yourself. I mean, AI can do it better now, right? You can ask AI to write a topic, keywords, topic, and then create a paper for you. So it's not you. In the writing, there is not you. You are not there. Your thinking, feeling, existing self, right? So, in order to learn, of course, now we learn, we use internet, definitely we cannot do without it, right? You keyword your keywords of your topics, and then you have a lot of lists of what other people have written. That's what you have to do, right? But that knowledge, you cannot just assemble them like that, because you have to internalize it. You have to process it through your mind. And you can process it, you can think about it through writing, by writing. Yeah? And sometimes we have problems, so later on maybe Carl and Anissa can talk about it, of how to give credit to those who have thought the same, about the same topics as you are doing, right? Sometimes we still don't know how to paraphrase and how to quote, how to use it, so that you are not considered doing plagiarism, right? So that is the way to actually process knowledge in your mind, by writing, by making it your own, right? So that kind of exercise is important. When you're stuck, sometimes writing our dissertation, I know this from my own experience. One sentence and then you just erase it again. One sentence, you erase it again. You stuck. You don't know. You have been in front of your computer for half a day and you felt frustrated because you do not produce anything, right? You can start by trying to make whatever whatever knowledge you have already sampled your own, by to understand it, process it in your own words, through your own understanding. Yeah? That is an important exercise. Yeah. So there is also your research project is meaningful if you have an intellectual struggle. If you just want to pass, I want to pass very quickly, so I just choose this topic, very easy. There is no investment, your own intellectual or emotional investment in that project, then it will not be meaningful for you. If it is not meaningful for you, how could it be meaningful for others? Right? So there should be something that you're struggling with your topic. If you're struggling with your topic, that means you have a good topic. Right? If you feel everything is fine, it's easy, you can do it, then it is not a meaningful topic. If you have questions, you don't understand what you're doing and you're struggling with it, that means you are doing something, you are in the right path, right? There is an intellectual struggle there to something that bothers you, something that intrigues you. Why is it like this? You don't understand, you feel troubled by it, you try to make sense of it. That's very good, right? That means you. So it's a part of a continuous journey that will never end, right? But of course, your supervisor will put a time frame. Yeah. Okay, it's a continuous journey until you are old, but you have only 1 year or 2 years to write your thesis. So stop your whatever you're doing right now and try to make sense of it. Whatever you have done. Okay. Now, the other question is, you're not writing it to yourself, right? At least you're writing for your committee members, your supervisor, of course. You have to please them. You have to make them say okay, right? But you are also writing for a community of scholars, for people to read later on when you publish your journal, right? So for whom are you writing? You have to ask. Yeah? For whom am I writing? I'm not talking to myself. Yeah? But also, you are not the first one who talk about that subject. Miss Getty or Pak Getty will keep on reminding you about this. You are not the first one to talk about that subject. You have keywords, you already Google it, and there you can see a list of people who have written something. Yeah? And again, like what I mentioned earlier, you cannot just list them down. You have to make sense of what you and put yourself in that dialogue. This has been taught by your supervisor a lot. Yeah. So mapping what has been written is very, very important. And mapping is not just listing, because we read a lot of dissertation, or your supervisors here, and they have one chapter full of listing what people have written, one by one by one. That is not internalizing. That is not mapping. That is not digesting. It's not digesting. You ask your supervisors to digest it, and they would really, really be angry to you. You know, why you give me this work? You know, you have to digest it, not me. You know, you give them a list, and you ask them to make sense of it. You have to really work on it, right? To make it your own, right? As Ms. Getty also always talk to you, identifying the gap is very important. What is the gap that you want to fill in, and what kind of a dialogue do you want to create, right? Next. And then, next. And who is your audience, right? Who is your audience? Who do you want to have conversation with? And of course, you need others to exchange knowledge and to further the dialogue. Otherwise, you publish once in any kind of journal that can give you to allow you to get the permit to continue your studies. Yeah, you need a community of scholars who share the same interests actually, and you want to really have a genuine dialogue in it, so that later on you can ask them to join you in collaborative research. So this is not only imaginary scholars. Of course, sometimes we do that. We look at journals that share the same ideas. We don't know who they are, right? We send it to them just trying our luck, right? Right? And if it's accepted, well, that's good. But you also want a genuine community that work with you, talk with you, exchange ideas about the same thing, maybe debating with you. Where can you find that community? Well, of course, you join conference, right? You join conferences, and then you join a professional association. These are the places where you find community of scholars. But sometimes if you're coming back from conference, you feel very empty because so this big conference, panels, coming, you don't even talk to people. You join conference, you probably go home. That's not, and what is important is usually networking in between panels, informal networking, very, very important, right? To get to know people, to listen to what they're doing, to engage with them, to exchange WhatsApp number, yeah, email them and contact them like how we know Carl here, right? We are very lucky that we can know Carl, right? Because we have met them, I forgot where we met him for the first time. Yeah? Inter-Asia. So Inter-Asia became a venue for us. There are so many people in Inter-Asia. Not all we can connect with. I mean, there are big names. Sometimes we don't connect very well, but we find people who can continue building our network. Yeah. So it's very important for you to do that while you are in a Ph.D. position, right? because you have this flexibility, you have all this infrastructure to join conferences, to do your own network in your particular interest, right? You create your own niche, your own kind of friends of the one the same that share the same thinking with you. Sometimes not in the same field, if possible, not in the same field, because we want to have multidisciplinary approaches to issues today very complex. It cannot be done approach from just one perspective, right? Disciplinary perspective. We need to listen to other people from different disciplines. And when you meet these people with the same interest but from different disciplines, you will feel very empowered, because then you can learn about their approach. You will not stop learning, and you will find some kind of new knowledge together, right? So, how important is ranking index, Scopus index, etc., etc.? I'm not going to give you advice how to read those things, yeah? Well, it is important because it's in the requirement. Sometimes at least CITA 1, CITA 2, there are this kind of, and you as a journal organizer or editors, of course it is very important, right? But that is not the only goal of your writing. That is not the end, of your, the priority of your writing. If you write something that is very meaningful to you, and you really can map your contribution, you can find your research camp, that means you contribute something to knowledge, and I'm sure good journals will look for it instead of you looking for that. If you present it, you communicate, then there will be they will look for it because your contribution is important. Next. So what kind of writing, right? We have to ask again, what is the aim? What is the practical aim of your writing project? Well, your practical aim of writing, pragmatic, right now is to get your degree, right? Right? And to get your degree or to to fulfill the requirement before you go to your exam, right? You have to publish this and that here and there, right? That is important, and for that we have already know you have to be smart, right? That is a very boring advice, but I have to repeat it again and again. Smart meaning to be specific in whatever you write. We have read journal abstract just now, and some of you are writing like a lifelong journey, right? So I don't know how long you are going to fulfill this if your abstract is so comprehensive. It's like abstract for a book project, right? But a journal article, a dissertation topic, a thesis is not a book. It's not all you know about the subject. It's only one argument that you have to prove that your thesis is valid through a methodology, by showing that whatever you have already argued can be shown through your data, through the good methodology. So maybe Carl and Bu Anissa will guide you about all of this. But being specific and realistic and being choosing something that's manageable, no, you don't need to invest so much money for it because you have not much saving, you have to go to, for example, Papua for 6 months, maybe you can't afford it, right? So you have to pick something that you can do while you're doing that, and it is something that is agreed by your supervisors, right? If they don't agree and you keep on insisting, sometimes it's good. Try try your own rigor, intellectual rigor, by trying to convince your Pak Maneke to agree with your topic. If you can convince Pak Maneke, that means you are very good, right? You're wonderful. Okay. All right. Next. So, which comes first? Theory, method, data, right? Some people comes with theory. I want to do post-colonial theory. Post-colonial theory are so a big bunch of labor, you know. What particular? Oh, I'm interested in the Lucent study, but what are you going to do with it, right? Unless you are a philosophy major, maybe you can choose just one philosopher and try to have a dialogue with that philosopher. But if you are doing culture studies, what are you going to do with this theory, right? You're bringing all around, you're looking for things, you know, you might not find what you're going to do. But method, oh, I want to do semiotic method, I want to do this and that. But what to do with the method? What is the topic, right? Or you have data, you have raw data, Ph.D. Wow, you have the whole big bunch of Veris Putri. You have the big bunch of data. What are you going to do with this, right? So it's none of this, but you have to do all of those at the same time, also at the same time, right? Raw data without theory do not mean anything. It's just data, nothing. Without data, theories are no use. Now, there is no method without a conceptual framework. So you have to do all at the same time, right? So what do you start with? Well, you can start with one or another, but what is important, as everybody here, your supervisor has already been talking to you again and again until you're so bored, is you have to come up with a problem. That is most important. Question is more important than the answer. So what you need is to find a good question, good problem. And it's not easy to find problems. There are a lot of problems in the world, but to create a research problem for your topic is very challenging. I know somebody who found the research problem, actually it happens to me too. After I almost finished my dissertation, then I started to find, oh, my real research problem is this. It's until, you know, when I keep on already writing my research, and then, oh, not this, not that. And then I found out that my research problem is, and then I have to rewrite the whole thing all together from the beginning to the ending, yeah? So it's a cyclical problem. Next, it's a kind of a cycle, yeah? So you have to start with observation of your data, of course, yeah? You look at your data 1 day, 2 days, and then you dream of it, and then and still you cannot find a problem. It's still there. But sometimes there is unresolved, something that's strange in your data, something that's contradicting one another, right? Something that is a gap, and something that you do not understand, missing fact. Something that is uncharted yet. Here, usually people don't talk about gender issue for this particular thing, but there is something about gender that bothers me, for example, right? So you have to, and what comes first? If you have no conceptual framework whatsoever, then it's very hard because theory is kind of a spectacle. You use glasses, brown glasses, you see everything brown. You change it with a red color, and you see everything red, right? But if you have already learned about feminist theory, post-colonial theory, and you put it back, you have to forget your theory. But one day when you look at data, something will come up. You know, some questions, conceptual questions that you have already been stored there will come up to you. And say, oh, this is something that bothers me. It has something to do with this and that. it's a combination of gender and politics or economics or something, yeah, that you have already stored in your mind, right? A mismatch between existing theories, yet unexplained phenomena. Now there are new things, new lifestyle for cultural studies, you know, digital lifestyles, new, Anissa would be able to list all of these new phenomena. Youth, you know, new consumption, you know. When I was young, there was no such a thing as residential community with religious identity, you know. But as we live in Jakarta, we see a lot of residential area with certain religious identity. So those who stay in that place should be of the same religion. That's something new for me, right? Before there was, yes, community, diaspora communities that stay together, Arabic, Chinese, you know, sometimes also, but not commodity for sale based on identity, for example. That is something that is just happening in, I don't know, in the early, maybe, I think, 21st century or something. When oligarch or people with a lot of money see, wow, I can make money out of this religious identity. I can sell books, very popular in Gramedia now, religious books, yeah. Or I can sell it by making residential housing or something like that. So these kind of new phenomena are appearing every day. And you will try to understand it. How could we understand this, right? Through a certain. These are topics for your future, whatever, you know, projects later. Yeah? Something that is also, that is one key is mind-boggling. Yeah? It's mind-boggling thing that means, oh, okay, this might lead me to a research problem, right? Okay, next. So, this is a cyclical journey. You start with a research problem, and then you find it. So not theory first, problem first, and then if I want to answer this question, what kind of conceptual framework is suitable for to understand this? Then you start to find your conceptual framework, right? And if I use this concept, which is mixed match sometimes of concept, 2 or 3 concepts put together, what is the way to actually analyze my data with the concept? What kind of method should I use? So this kind, and then you start doing your analysis, and then you find out that you asked the wrong question, right? And then you have to restart again, thinking of a new question, and then you say, maybe I have to change my conceptual framework. Well, this do not happen only to you, it happens to me, it happens to a lot of people, right? Do not, please, it is not only your problem, so do not feel frustrated. If you try to, I want to quit my Ph.D, you know, you have to talk with your other friends, and they are in the same journey, the same boat with you, right? And then we have to support one another, heal one another, right? From meeting with your supervisor, usually one day after you meet your supervisor, you could have to go to spa. You have to go to find something, to go to the beach or something, to forget what the person already mentioned to you, or you know, you cannot see your dissertation for a week because it's full of comments, right? We still experience it every time we send our article to a journal and we got our review back, right? It's a basic question. I don't understand what you are saying, you know. A professor can get that kind of review from a reviewer, you know. So it's not only you. So how long should the cycle be continued? your supervisor will say stop, right? Stop here and you start, whatever you've got, you have to write it down, right? Finish it, right? Okay. And now this the last one is the ethics of writing. It is something that, well, we do make mistakes. Sometimes we are tempted to put, we found something that is so good. We never think about it and we want to use it, right? And we just use their words for our paper, you know. In my, I think my third semester here at faculty, when I do Kritik Sastra with Ph.D, I was tempted to do that, right? I was tempted to do. There was one thing, because we have to find literary review, we cannot go to internet at that time. We have to take a bus to British Council, which is far away in Menteng, and spend one whole day there every day, written back with a bus, right? And I found one good quote that I couldn't miss. I put it there, and Ibu Budianta directly repeated, she knows that I'm quoting for something. And she put a red mark and then put, I don't know how much I got. I think I had 0 or 3 or 30 or something, and said, you know, you pledge your eyes. That is my, I never forget, and I'm very thankful to her because of that. We are tempted, we do make mistakes, and it becomes our lesson, and we learn about the ethics. We have to really be honest and be true to ourselves. That this is me, because through writing, like what Carl has mentioned, through the writing, it's a trace of your authorship. Now we call about digital, what is it? Digital trace, yeah? Digital, what is it? Footprints. We call digital footprints. Your writing is your footprints. You will be traced there, your authorship. Of course you change throughout time. Sometimes you don't be afraid to transform yourself. If you keep up the same, you know, S1 you write about this, S2 you write the same thing, a little bit changing, a little bit of change. S3 you change a little bit, and you never change actually, then you don't learn anything, right? People trace you and you keep on saying the same thing all the time, right? But if you transform yourself, sometimes you contradict your earlier self, right? But quoting Emerson, you know, you don't need to be afraid to contradict yourself, right? Because that means you are transforming yourself. Oh, I made a mistake. I want to change. I want to I learn new things. And so it's a transformation, right? So how you acknowledge others in your journey, how you put yourself, your own knowledge there, yeah? It's something that you need to keep on learning, yeah? Now there is a lure of AI. AI is, you know, but Budianta already has these sessions in how to make use of AI. So instead of being lured to just use it, you can use it, but use it for our own purposes without sacrificing our integrity, without sacrificing our ethics. And of course, one thing that we need to do is we have to really be reflective critically of our relations in knowledge building. Yeah? Later on, you will be lecturers, you have assistants, you have students, you know. Recently, I think in recent 10 years, I think 1 decade or more, there is a regulation even that students have to publish with their lecturers, right? Actually, at the beginning, I really don't like this, right? Because I have to put my name and my students' writing. With how many percent is my work? Very little sometimes, right? And it bothers me. But then it becomes a regulation, and then there is a responsibility there. When you here, I experienced one thing. I was invited to be an examiner of somebody not from our university, thanks God, and I will not mention the university. He came to me and he said, "Can you please be the external examiner?" Because I know that person individually, and of course I am obliged to help him. Yes, and then he showed me his dissertation, very thick. When I read it, the first chapter, second chapter, the voice is different. You know, and I forgot to mention to you, in every kind of writing, you have to create your own voice. It's very difficult to find your own voice. It's not easy, right? You have to create a sense of your voice, your style of speaking. You know, of course, it has to be academic. You know, you cannot use a colloquial way of, but your own voice. You know, the way your mind, your personality should be there. That is how one theoretician can be you know, distinguished from another. This is Stuart Hall. This is Derrida, because they have their own voice, their own style, and you have to find that style, right? But when I read this dissertation, one chapter has a different voice, the second has a different voice, the third has a different voice. So I came to him and asked, why you have a different style in each of the chapter? And he proudly said to me, well, I asked my colleague to write the first chapter, the second, the third. What? This dissertation? Why not? He didn't understand that the dissertation should be his. My goodness, I would almost faint, you know. And there are two lecturers that were invited from this university to be examined. We all declined, but I have to send some kind of comments or question. I sent it, but it didn't come to the examination. He was examined and he got his degree, you know. But that was terrible, you know. And he didn't know that it was wrong. And he said, well, if you write a book, sometimes we have a team, you know. And he used to be consultant for book writing of Minister A, Minister B. And sometimes the minister gives him a project to write a book. And that's what he did. I mean, you know, commission this and that and that. For him, it's just, it's a common practice, right? But I pray to God none of you will do that, right? And I'm sure that you will not do that, right? You have to create your own voice because it's your trait, it's your contribution to the world. And another one thing that I'm now working more with community than working with in academia. Yeah, I like also Anissa and other people I have already done so. And you want your writing also to be read by them. And if you write about the community, you are not taking you know, knowledge from them and then publish it. That is also ethics. Yeah. What you have learned from them, you have to return it to them. And you learn from them, so they have credits for your writing. How do you write together with them, right? So we have done it several times. We write together with the community that we are researching or we do PENGMAS on. PENGMAS is not like the usual perspective. We as academicians come to a community, we have knowledge, they don't have knowledge. We teach them what is good for them. It's not like that, right? In doing a community service, you are learning from the community. They have knowledge that is not in the books, but it's very precious. You learn something that you never learned before. Sometimes more eye-opening than what you learn from theories, Western theories or whatever theories that you have learned from your classes. And then you make knowledge together, right? And you have to also produce writing that they can write. And it is building knowledge together for the community, something that they can use, they can make use of, right? And we have done several times. We even invite also in the anthropology department, we have colleagues, my own sister, in my warung ilmiah lapangan, they make knowledge together and they invite the community activists to share the same panels and to talk together. So this is the ethics of knowledge formation. You are not, you don't know any better than other people, you know. You only chip in your own knowledge there. But there are other people that you have to share your knowledge with them, to make your knowledge together with them and contribute back to them. It's only there that you can make an impact, right? Because you learn and you acknowledge your learning process with them. So good luck with your journey, your writing journey, and still one more slide? Oh, okay. This is an important aspect. It is an art. It is not only what is it? A mechanical way of writing, following the regulation or format given by the beginning is background, theory, and then this one is a literary review, and you follow the format. It's an art, right? Especially in the field of social humanities, it's an art. I just now, last year, we joined an Interasia Cultural Studies, selection for Ph.D. dissertation, the best Ph.D. dissertation. And we found one dissertation that when we read it, it's like reading a novel. It's amazing. It's a sociologist actually, a sociologist and anthropologist. She wrote about tracing the precious stone making in her hometown in I forgot Hong Kong or somewhere. She found this gemstone craftsmen, and she found out they are from Pakistan. So she went back to Pakistan and learned that they are not really Pakistani. They are actually illegal migrants from neighboring places there. And then she traced where they are sending this gemstone, the network. She went to Thailand, she went to Taiwan with them. And she is a woman, and she entered this very masculine business. So when she came there, she had to have a muhrim that accompanied her, although she's Chinese, right? And then she had to do a lot of detective work there. She has to pretend to be a rich businesswoman who wants to buy the gemstone, and then she has to make friends with them, she lived with them. There are a lot of stories, narratives. And when I read the dissertation, it's like reading a novel. The first time I can feel it, the time when she entered this shop, who are there, and I can hear their voices. It's like reading a novel, But of course, she did all the stuff, the review, she did the theory. But I have to finish it. I think I finished it in just 2 or 3 sittings, the whole dissertation, because it's so, it takes you there. I follow the journey, I see the people, the ethnographic discovery. It's an art, yeah? So the key is writing is, the art of presenting your work is important. And in the end, it's not just tears. Of course, sometimes I know you have a lot of tears doing this, sweat, and it's very painful. I know it's a little bit masochistic journey, yeah. But find the pleasure. Don't forget to find the pleasure of self-discovery. Going back to my first slide, right? Finding yourself. Your writing is finding yourself and finding your transformation throughout the writing, although hopefully it's not a permanent head injury, right? Ph.D. people say permanent head injury. Hopefully not, right? Okay, I stop there. Thank you so much.
Now we have a question time. Professor Melani. 3 or 4 questions first, maybe. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you can press the button.
Test. I would like to ask.
State your name, please.
Oh, okay. My name is Andreas. I would like to ask. Sometimes we know a lot of knowledge, of course, because it's our journey that we already organize our knowledge. But sometimes there is one doubt that we tend to question ourselves. How do we know if the knowledge that we know comes from others or whether it comes from ourselves? Because it is tend to be confusing because we learn and absorb many things from outside. So we tend to have that kind of doubt, right? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. Next. Ya, silakan. State your name, please, ma'am.
Hello. Good morning, Professor and the others. My name is Zikra from Linguistic. Thank you very much, Professor, for your insight. My question, according to your previous explanation, how do you come with research problem? Actually, the most important is observation on reality, data, facts, and concepts. So I'm writing about a certain concept right now, but my question, what do you mean by concept exactly? Every single word include concept, do you think? That's my question, the first question. And the second question is, Professor, which one we have to decide first? Writing the article first or decide the publication first? Because this kind of alright, that's my bad experience. I write first, and in fact, I was failed in publishing the certain journal. So probably you have another insight to see this. Thank you very much, Professor.
Okay, thank you, Zikra. Then you can ask in English or Indonesian. Not in Russian, please. Okay, any more questions? Not yet? Okay.
Okay, very good question. Originality, right? We want to write something original, right? But how do we know that we are original? Well, you have to do your homework. Your homework is first, if you have a topic, certainly you have some keywords of your original thought. So what is the keyword of your original thought? Can you give me your keywords, please? What is your keyword? The one keyword or 2 keywords of your original thought. You think that, oh, this is something from me, right? So what is it? Give me example. You want, what is your dissertation topic?
I'm not making my dissertation, I'm making my thesis.
Alright.
Knowledge distribution.
Okay, knowledge distribution is one keyword. And? Where?
Discourse.
Discourse. Knowledge distribution where? Is it a space, a when, where?
It's more to the who and whom.
Okay, knowledge distribution number 1, and secondly, what is it? Discourse. Okay. Wow. If you type your keyword there, I don't think for 1 week you can finish the list, right? Knowledge distribution, wow, so many. Discourse, so many. So how could you claim that knowledge distribution is your original idea, right? How could you claim that? Then you find out that definitely it is knowledge distribution, that term, in fact, that term is not your own making, right? So there is nothing original in that keyword. And discourse, wow, how long has been talked about? So definitely we from the beginning, typing the keywords, we know that we are not original, right? But you have to be original, then you have to make it more specific. Knowledge distribution where? What is the kind of data? What kind of discourse is it? What kind of discourse? Make it more specific. Then probably you have a set of data that nobody has ever discussed. You know, discuss Foucault. You know, all those whatever students, Foucauldian students, or all these Van Dijk, and already how many scholars have studied this course, right? But if you set a certain data that is specific and then use that theory, maybe then you found 1 or 2 persons that have already done it, but in a completely different set of data. Then you can claim your originality because, okay, a lot of people have talked about knowledge distribution, but not in this particular place, time, you know. This concept, you need to put context in it. Where, when, you know. It's two concepts that are so abstract. So, right? So, to be original, you can find it just by Googling your keywords. Yeah? Okay. Now, concept. Your friend has already mentioned some concept, right? It can be anything. It can be gender, for example. Gender, semantics, and then what? You know. You can mix gender, concept from different area, from feminist theory gender, and then from architecture or from space, gender and space, and then you find your linguistics data where. So the combination of these three in your data, how gender and space are put into play, and I don't know what kind of linguistic data you want to find. For example, by combining these concepts, you know, then you have a framework. You know, the concept is not theory. It's like, I want to do post-colonial theory. That is not. It's a big baggage, right? But if you, what I have to do, gender and economics, or in gender and counting, for example, or you know, and something that is never been discussed before. This combination of ideas, yeah. Then you have a conceptual framework. Yeah, it's up to you. Maybe you can mention what are the concepts that you want to use in your.
I'm writing about a certain concept that actually always discussed in another perspective, like the concept of peace.
Oh,
yeah. No, I mean, I'm just still confusing what exactly the meaning of concept. Every single word is a concept.
Definitely.
Oh,
then
okay.
You make it your own, right? Your concept, you create your own working definition of your concept, right? Of course. A word is concept. Everything is concept, right? But what you mean by concept in this particular thesis is not just every word, right? But a certain idea that has some paradigm, right? Just some ideological paradigm, theoretical paradigm. Yeah. What is paradigm? You learn Thomas Kuhn, right? It's a certain perspective in framing certain word or certain idea. That is the concept that you mean here, right? So there is a working definition. Every one of you sometimes use certain words that have been used very widely, and then you have to mention in your thesis or whatever you're writing the working definition of what you mean by this. Do I answer you? Hopefully, yeah? Or otherwise we can talk outside. Okay. So, do you write the article first or thinking about the publication first? Chicken and egg, chicken and egg. Okay, but you have to publish. Well, for me, I always write first. Unless somebody asks me to write for their journals. There are a lot of times it happens like that. You know, I was asked to write for this and that, and then I do that, right? But if I want to write, I write. And then usually, then you think about where to publish it, and then you, of course, you see the scope of what the contribution of your writing, the keywords, and you find through Google to search everywhere journals that relates and that will, in which you can communicate better with the same kind of scholars, sharing the same interests, right? You want to find your own community that really share your interests. Ranking, yeah, maybe later on, right? Okay. Okay, other questions?
One last question. Please state your name, please.
Okay, my name is Karin Sarisa Putra. I have questions, but actually I just write down my questions here so it becomes very clear to say. Well, actually, this is a question about the use of AI in writing. I use AI for assessing my writing, especially often when I feel overwhelmed with my ideas. It's very helpful, like similar to how we seek guidance from a supervisor to clarify our thoughts, because sometimes we know what, in my mind, we think we know what our thinking, but it seems that we need to clarify about the thinking. So when we use AI, oh yeah, this AI can help us, can understand me well. I mean, like, the ideas is still from me. I mean, like, I hope it's still from me, but the AI confirm it, the overwhelming thoughts in my mind on that. So how can we strengthen? Maybe it's about the ethic of writing, or maybe it's about the art of writing, or to strengthen our voice in writing. So how can we strengthen the ability to write independently, so we cannot really rely on using AI?
Thank you very much. Yeah. When you are stuck, you are so desperate. It's okay to try AI and then see what they come up with. Oh, interesting. They come up with this from my idea. They come up with this and that and that. But it's only suggestion. Yeah. The AI is not you. You have the feeling. You have the knowledge. Does it relate with me? Is it me? I mean, you have to find your own voice. Then you can, that helps you clarify your thinking. And then you have to forget it, you close it, and then you write your own. Because you are now, you feel better, If AI can make you feel better, that's okay. Make yours a bit better, but do not rely on them. You close it, and then you practice. And you have to practice writing. Because you cannot just discover your voice just like that. Even in every article that I write, I have to refine my voice every time I write. Sometimes I got stuck. I have this topic and then I start writing. It doesn't go anywhere. It's stuck. I have to wash my dishes first. I have to do that and then to do other chores. Yeah. Returning again, maybe sing a song or something like that, yeah, do something. And then suddenly there is something, okay, I can enter with this. So to enter, to start, it's very hard, right? And then you enter with some quote or enter with something, and suddenly you start writing without, even thinking about it, right? And that happens to me every time I write an article. Just whatever small it is, I have to start finding my voice again. So if you make use of AI, but only to a certain point. Yeah? Do not let them rob you of your own voice. Yeah? You find it. You find it through trying to do it every day. So if you write your dissertation and you postpone it for 2 weeks, you have to start again. Very, very difficult. You have already postponed it for a week, So you have to practice to write like we do. You're good. You write, right? Just now you write your question, right? You do that every day. I remember when I write a dissertation, I was stuck. I could not write anything. So what I do is I write my thank you note. As if I have finished my dissertation. Yeah? I thank you of this and that, you know. I can write the whole day, you know, because I have finished my dissertation. I have not even started, right? But I practice my writing. There I found my voice. Or sometimes I just write the footnote, or I just write, you know, reading some article and then I paraphrase the article. Anything that you can write. Do not stop writing. Because it needs, you know, it's like exercising. Now we don't use our handwriting anymore, right? When you don't use your handwriting started to be a little bit strange, right? The same way with writing. It's different from spoken word. Writing and spoken word is something different, right? So you need to practice it. You need to do it every, like maybe write a diary or write I don't know what, right? Just practice your writing. Do not stop. When you stop for a month, oh my God, it took more energy, more time to restart. It's like restarting an engine that has not been tuned up for a long time, you know? So do it regularly, becoming a habit. And then you forget the problems of writing because you are so used to doing it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Melani. So to conclude, write and keep on writing your dissertation. Please give our warmest applause to Professor Melani Budianta for